Simple interest. P is principal, money borrowed, invested, or deposited. R is a rate, usually a percent changed to a decimal. Time is in years. I equals PRT. Changing from a percent to a decimal, we drop the percent sign and we move the decimal 2 places to the left. 75%. I would drop the percent sign and then move the decimal 2 places to the left. So 75% is equivalent to 0.75. If I change from a decimal to a percent, I move the decimal 2 places to the right and add a percent sign. So if I have the decimal 0.85, I'm going to move the decimal 2 places to the right and add a percent. So 0.85 equals 85%. You're starting your own small business in Yorktown. You borrow $10,000 from the bank at a 9% rate for 5 years. Find the interest. We're going to use I equals PRT. You borrow $10,000. P equals 10,000. Your rate is 9%. We need to turn that into a decimal. So in order to write a percent in it as a decimal, we drop the percent sign and move the decimal place 2 to the right, to the left. 9% equals 0.09. The time is 5 years. T equals 5. I equals P times R times T. So I equals 10,000 times 0.09 times 5. I equals 4,500. So the interest that you would pay on this loan is $4,500. All right, you get a student loan from the International Education Assistance Foundation to pay for your educational expenses. Find the interest on a loan if you borrowed $12,000. The amount of money that you borrow is P, $12,000. At a percent of 8, interest of 8%. 8% as a decimal, move it 2 places to the left, 0.08. Your time is 4. It's going to be borrowed for 4 years. I equals PRT, so I equals 12,000 times 0.08 times 4. So the interest that you would earn on your loan, $3,840. The interest is $3,840. All right. You were tired at the end of a term and you decide to borrow $500 to go on a trip. You go to the bank and borrow the money at 11% for 2 years. P, principal, the amount of money you borrow is $500. At a rate of 11%. Your rate is 11%. As a decimal, move the decimal 2 places to the left, is 0.11 for a time of 2 years. The first question says find the interest you will pay on the loan. So the interest equals P times R times T. So I have I equals 500 times 0.11 times 2. So I equals $110. Question B says, how much will you have to pay the bank at the end of 2 years? How much will you have to pay? So that's the total. Now the total that you have to pay back is the interest plus the principal. The total equals I plus P. So the total is 110 plus 500. So the total that you would pay the bank back is $610. All right, Kelly plans to put her graduation money into an account and leave it there for 4 years. So my time, T, equals 4, while she goes to college. She receives $750 in graduation money that she will put into an account. So she's going to deposit, P, $750. Her account earns 4.25%. Change my percent to a decimal, 0.045. How much will be in Kelly's account at the end of 4 years? This is a question about the total. How much will be in her account? Remember, the total equals the interest plus the principal. So first we need to find out what the interest is. We need to solve for I. I equals 750 times 0.0425 multiplied by 4. So the interest that Kelly earns on her deposit is $127.50. Kelly wants to know the total amount that she'll have in her account at the end of 4 years. The total is the interest plus the principal, or $127.50 plus the beginning amount, $750. So the total in Kelly's account after 4 years is $877.50. A local bank is advertising that you can double your money in 8 years if you invest with them. Suppose you have $1,000 to invest. What interest rate is the bank offering? Well, let's see. Double my money. If I start with 1,000 and I want to double that, that means that my total, or the ending amount, will be 2,000. 1,000 times 2 is 2,000. Now remember, to calculate the total, your total is your interest plus your principal. Your total equals your interest plus your principal. Now I know that I need my total to equal $2,000. I don't know what my interest is going to be, but I know that I started with $1,000. So 2,000 equals I plus 1,000. So what number can I add to 1,000 to equal 2,000? Well, my interest is $1,000. So 1,000 equals I. So now I have I and I have P. I just need to figure out what the rate is. So I equals 1,000, P equals 1,000, and the time, 8 years, so T equals 8. Now let's set this up and solve for R. I equals P times R times T. So 1,000 equals 1,000 times 8, that's my time, multiplied by R. I don't know what that value is. 1,000 times 8 is 8,000. And remember, we learned that we always divide by the number attached to the variable. So I'm going to divide both sides by 8,000. And when I do that, I discover that R equals 0.125. Now that is a decimal, and I need to turn that into a percent. So the bank is offering an interest rate of 12.5%. Jamie wants to earn $500 in interest. I equals 500. So she'll have enough to buy a used car. She puts $2,000 into an account that earns 5% interest. So her principal is 2,000 and her interest rate 5% as a decimal 5 multiplied by t. 500 equals 100t. Now we learned that we divide both sides by the number attached to the variable, so I'm going to divide both sides by 100. T equals 5. So she will need to leave her money in the account for 5 years.